guys. All right, so we're going to start with The Ransom of Red Chief by O. Henry. Please follow along in your copy as I read. It looked like a good thing, but wait till I tell you. We were down south in Alabama, Bill Driscoll and myself, when this kidnapping idea struck us. It was, as Bill afterward expressed it, during a moment of temporary mental apparition. But we didn't find that out till later. So, temporary mental apparition, what that means is we had this terrible idea, but in our heads it was a good idea. There was a town down there as flat as a funnel cake and called Summit, of course. It contained inhabitants as undeleterious and self-satisfied as a class of peasantry has ever clustered around a maypole. So they're saying these people think that they're really, really nice and fancy, but, they're like peasants. They're just kind of all gathered together. So they think they're all high and mighty, but there's nothing really to it. Bill and me had a joint capital of about $600, and we needed just $2,000 more to pull off a fraudulent town lot scheme in Western Illinois with. We talked it over on the front steps of the hotel. Philanthropogentiveness, as says we, is strong in semi-rural communities. Therefore, and for other reasons, a kidnapping project ought to do better there than in the radius of newspapers that send reporters out in plainclothes to stir up talk about such things. We knew Summit couldn't get after us with anything stronger than constables and maybe some lackadaisical bloodhounds and a diatribe or two in the weekly farmer's budget. So it looked good. So what they're saying, they have about $600. They need $2,000 in order to make this giant scheme to earn more money in Western Illinois. So they're going to pretend to sell lots to a town that doesn't exist, but they need about $2,000 more in order to be able to sell fake lots. So I went to this hotel in the front of a pretty rural community, and because there's not very many people living there, they know, okay, the newspaper, what are they going to do? They're going to write an article about us in the weekly farmer's budget. No one really cares. And they said, well, they've got a couple constables. Constables are like a couple police officers, but they don't really have too much power. They're not going to be able to leave the city to come chase after them anyway. We selected our victim, the only child of a prominent citizen named Ebenezer Dorset. The father was respectable and tight, a mortgage financier, and a stern, upright collection plate passer and forecloser. The kid was a boy of 10, with bas-relief freckles and hair the color of the cover of the magazine you buy at the newsstand when you want to catch a train. Bill and me figured that Ebenezer would melt down for a ransom of $2,000 to a cent. But wait till I tell you. About 2 miles from Summit was a little mountain covered with a dense cedar brake. On the rear elevation of this mountain was a cave. There we stored provisions. One evening after sundown, we drove in a buggy past old Dorset's house. The kid was in the street, throwing rocks at a kitten on the opposite fence. "Hey, little boy," says Bill. "Would you like to have a big bag of candy and a nice ride?" The boy catches Bill neatly in the eye with a piece of brick. "That would cost the old man an extra $500, says Bill, climbing over the wheel. So now they're going to increase the ransom rate to $2,500. So they're going to, because the kid hit Bill in the eye with a piece of brick. That boy put up a fight like a welterweight cinnamon bear, But at last we got him down in the bottom of the buggy and drove away. We took him up to the cave, and I hitched the horse in the cedar brake. After dark, I drove the buggy to the little village 3 miles away, where we had hired it, and walked back to the mountain.